Hey, welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at Matthew chapter 18 verse 20, which says, "For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am in their midst." I want to be clear before we start this video that our Bible breakdown today is in no way saying that this verse can't be used as a standalone promise of God being present in our midst. But today we're going to look at this verse in context with the rest of the chapter and break down what Jesus actually meant the context for this verse to be. So this verse is probably the most comforting verse used for church gatherings or small prayer meetings. We use it to reassure ourselves when attendance is low or to validate our small groups. We kind of treat it like a divine math equation. We say one Christian plus one Christian equals God's presence. But think about the implication. Does that mean that if I'm praying alone in my room, Jesus isn't there with me? Isn't God omnipresent? Or is it only when you're with somebody else? To understand verse 20, you have to read verse 15. Verse 15 says, "If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault." Jesus isn't talking about a prayer service. He's talking about conflict. He's giving the church a legal framework for dealing with unrepentant sin. Step 1 is to confront them privately. If they listen, great. If not, step 2 is to take 1 or 2 others along with you, that every charge may be established by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. That phrase 2 or 3 isn't a head count for a party. It's a direct quote from Deuteronomy chapter 19 verse 15. It's the legal Jewish code. In a court of law, you couldn't convict someone of a crime without 2 or 3 witnesses' evidence. So when Jesus says, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name," he isn't talking about coffee and fellowship. He was actually talking about judicial authority. He was telling the church leaders, when you have to make hard decisions to remove an unrepentant sinner from the church, when you gather to judge a serious matter based on my word, I'm there with you. I am there to ratify your decision. My stamp of approval is on this judgment. So does Jesus attend your small prayer meetings? Of course he does. But this verse isn't about his presence. It's about his power to judge sin. We don't need this verse to prove he's with us, because we have a better promise in Matthew chapter 28 verse 20 where it says, "Teaching them to follow all that I commanded you, and behold, I am with you always to the end of the age." So whether you're in a crowd of thousands or alone in a prison cell, the Spirit of Christ dwells in you, and you don't have to summon him with a head count. We can rely on him being present through faith.